explaining to kiddo that keeping him out of these protects his privacy has been a trip. Anyway, I keep on thinking that, what if, please excuse how messy I am, I have a migraine. One of the ones that comes from the back of my head and the tendons pulling. So I've got a cold rag on the back instead of the front, but I'm still like light sensitive. It's not as bad as it was last night. It's just, you know, on that edge where it's still a little bit of a headache, but like you can feel it waiting to pounce again. Last night I almost threw up. Like, that's how bad it was. It's been a while since I've had one that bad. Well, I shouldn't say that it's been a while since I had one that bad. It's been a while since I had one that came on that suddenly. Usually I can kind of acclimate myself to a degree and just kind of stay away from the light and stuff, but that one came quick. No warning, and those are usually the ones that you want to throw up during. Anyway, the patient advocate at the hospital is looking into what happened. And I keep on thinking, like, what if the possibility that they brought up actually happened? Like, what if they took my blood and I just didn't notice? What if the results are funky? Because of, ironically enough, my PTSD. Well, CPTSD, but most people don't understand what that is. It's kind of like a thing. And also on the internet, people talk about it like they know, but they really don't. People with complex trauma will come out claiming that they have CPTSD, but you can have acute PTSD and complex trauma. It's just not how it works. CPTSD is like a more advanced version. And it happens whenever you have like breaks between your trauma. And it doesn't always happen if there's a break between trauma. Like, it doesn't always immediately you have CPTSD. It had to happen to me 3 times before mine developed into CPTSD. 3. And CPTSD is a little bit different than PTSD. Acute. Because with acute, you may actually be able to avoid your triggers. Whereas with me, I can just think the wrong thought. And it's not just one. You're not just dealing with one, you're dealing with like several at once. It's just one of those things, you know. At least I'm better in my written communications now, which you wouldn't know if you read some of them. The thing is, I'm actually really good at writing whenever it comes to characters and stories and in-depth this or that and the other on that. Detail orientation for stories is great. Underwriting, good at that. Helping other people organize their thoughts, I'm good at that. You know what I'm not good at? Communicating my own words. Chris?
What?
Please put it away for now. You know I keep you out of these to protect your privacy. I know you don't know what that means and you think that it's stupid. But please stop doing noisy things while I'm doing this. Thank you. He's in his bedroom. It's earlier in the morning. We just had breakfast. He's playing with his toys. And I'm just trying to get my thoughts organized because, you know how bad that migraine was? I woke up confused. I didn't know what day it was or anything. I mean, I acclimated pretty quick. Not as quick as I normally would, but I acclimated. You know, the thing that I was afraid of whenever I had like such a sudden onset, like, what if that thing that happened whenever the doctor was pressing on it, you know, doing that ultrasound, what if it was a blood clot or something? And then the blood clot, you know, went somewhere where it caused like a really sudden, because it's really weird for it to be sudden. Like normally you've got like a headache building for a while first. Like you can feel it coming. But that was really sudden. Now, I don't alert my doctor whenever I have like muscles seizing themselves around my kidneys, but let's just, that hurts like a bitch. I'm not even going to censor that B word, whatever. Like, it's a female dog, it's an expletive, and I am way too tired and mentally drained and physically drained to censor my language. I apologize to anyone who finds this and finds that offensive. And yes, I am aware that I am in my undershirt. I'm sorry if you find that offensive as well. So, yeah. I keep on thinking, like, what if I was so distressed and in so much pain that I just didn't notice that they took the blood? Because normally that would never happen. No matter how much pain I'm in, I am extremely hyper aware of what is being done, what is happening, and I'm asking them to tell me what's happening. But it was chaos. And I keep on thinking, like, what if that's a possibility? They're probably going to be really mad at me. But also, if that blood result is mine, there are anomalies in it. Stop trying to be nosy. Well, my journal is not a place for you to listen in because you're bored.
Hi, can I play outside?
Yes.
Tippy.
Stay in the backyard.
Alright.
And don't throw anything over the fence this time.
Oh, there's someone, the upstairs tenants is shoveling their yard.
Yeah? Well, you're not going out front.
Yes,
Anyway. I keep on thinking, what if? Because that's me. I mean, my mom was the type of person that's like, what ifs will drive you crazy? And I'm the type of person that is like, what ifs keep me sane? They make me sound crazy sometimes, but they make me stay sane and they help me live my life. Complete opposite to my mom. My mom was a very in the moment sort of person. Even whenever I was very little, she was trying to encourage me to be that way, and I still wasn't. Even before I had PTSD. And to be fair, I mean, I developed it pretty early in life. For a kid, I was still developing. And I developed adaptations. I would like to note, though, that a lot of the therapy is about making other people comfortable, not about actual healing or dealing with how it affects you. Desensitization to it doesn't help me. Sometimes that's the problem. I'm so used to it. I desensitize to its effect on me. And so obviously those therapies wouldn't be helpful for me at all, because masking what it's doing to me would actually hurt me even more. And anyway, I still do it anyway. Like, I'm doing that in the first place. So, certain types of therapy that would help people that had acute or people that developed it later on in life don't help me because I developed it in childhood. Anyway, I didn't develop it before my mom died. Actually, that might actually be wrong. I was definitely left traumatized by that time those people came and took us for 6 months. I was definitely traumatized by them threatening my mother in front of me and my brother on my mom's side. I have to specify that now because I have siblings on both sides. Although, I guess I have an older brother on my dad's side who just doesn't want to deal with any more siblings. Which I warned the brother I talked to, who is awesome, could happen. He didn't think it would. But that's because, you know, he knows that brother, like, is a little bit closer to them and didn't think that they were capable of that because they didn't do it to them. But apparently we have another sister who's a total B-word, and she digs into people, like, finds ways to attack them, try to make them cry. And I guess any other sibling is like a threat to her claim on Daddy Dearest or whatever. I don't know how else to explain her behavior. Other than like trying to piss on her territory. But there's no other, like, B-word is the nicest thing I can say. Like, that's the nice way of saying it. She's mean. Like, really mean, but mean is not enough. Like, the word mean is not enough. This woman dug up stuff on me, and what happened to me then twisted it into the most painful thing that she could. What? Yeah? Don't just stare at me. That's what you need to do. You need to ask. Don't just look at me. Yes, you may borrow my gloves.
Thank you.
If you want to practice scooping snow, you can. We have a snow shovel. You were talking about wanting to shovel snow for money. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna do it for money, you should practice. That's why I was saying he could if he wanted to. There might be enough snow for you to make a snowman now.
What?
There might be enough snow for you to make a snowman now.
Nice.
Okay. My body's never not fighting something. But if a blood test was done and my body wasn't fighting anything, what if it was because my immune system hadn't kicked back on yet whenever the blood test was done? Because one of my trauma responses is my immune system shuts down. It's not the response to everything, but whenever there is a fight or flight response, it can be. That is especially bad if you have an infection, by the way. Meanwhile, last night, we still couldn't find the thermometer because I think it's actually one of the boxes that's in the storage shed, and apparently we're getting those on Saturday instead of the Monday that I planned because, you know, we couldn't get anything for Monday. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes stuff happens. So that's what happened with that. Then there is, I don't know. We're gonna try and get everything at once. That's the plan. That is the plan. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. And if my kidneys really are in a good range with everything now, like, that would be awesome. Like, I've put a lot of work into that. I know that they say that I don't have to eat a kidney diet, but that's basically what I'm doing. I mean, not completely, but like, I'm so used to controlling everything with diet in my body, or doing what I can for it anyway, and the things that can't be controlled with diet, that knowing that there are things that I can do that way kind of just is like, okay, I'm going to do it. It's just part of my personality. So we're minimizing meat, and we were kind of already doing that to an extent. But there's more focus on it. Sometimes we do meat with dinner. Like last night, we had 2 drumsticks apiece. I was kind of disappointed because we couldn't manage to get chicken breast too, but we managed to get a thing of 5 pounds of ground beef, some hot dogs, and the drumsticks. We have to have some meat because, of course, we got a growing kiddo, and better half, he does a lot of, I know he's a manager, but he still does a lot of hands-on work. Sometimes he's the only one there. He's one of the good managers. But also, every time he's like, nobody wants to work, I'm like, because that's what you feel like as a manager who's doing the work. I'm just like, I don't think it's that they don't want to work, honey. Not all of them. Some of them maybe, because some of them will get the job and then they just won't do anything. At that point, yeah, I mean, they don't want to work. They're not there to do the job, at least. Nobody wants to work. He doesn't even want to work. He wants a job. He does a job because that is what is necessary, and that is what is responsible, and he's doing this despite the fact that sometimes he wakes up in the morning and he's just feels like a sack of crud and doesn't want to do anything. It's not that they don't want to work. Nobody wants to work. That's the thing. That's why rich people don't. A lot of them don't. They just put their name on a bunch of stuff and let everybody else do the work. I mean, we're talking about people who don't even clean their own houses. Not that I wouldn't have somebody help you with that if I could. There's too much stuff I can't do right now. And he's helping me with that too whenever he's home, so yeah. And I feel bad about that. Because it's not how I want to do that. I mean, there's always been stuff that he's helped with if I just couldn't get to it in time because I was handling kiddo and stuff. Or because I was trying to hustle and make money. Like, I'm really bad at hustling to make money. I don't have the skills for it. I don't have business skills. I have art skills and lapidary skills and sewing skills and all these different skills. Like, I have more than just that. I have like beaning, wire wrap, like I could make a list of skills. But you know what I don't have? I can't sell myself worth shit. And whenever you are selling your art, apparently you also have to sell yourself. I can't sell myself. It's just not in my skill set. I just have to hope that one day my art gets the attention that it needs. Then I won't have to sell myself. Or I can just be like, this is the price. If you want it, buy it. The thing is that the websites that used to promote artists are now promoting AI. And the people that are doing the AI are often people who don't understand where that even comes from. And if you tell them, they are completely offended. Because you basically just told them that their work is built on stolen work. It is. The artists whose work are put into these things, yeah, I hate to tell you, but generally speaking, most artists don't want their stuff in that stuff. They're not giving permission. It's just being yoinked and put in there. It's being stolen. The things that are being made with it, it's just like a digital collage. And the people who make these programs don't like that description. But it's taking aspects of different pieces of work that already exist. No, that is not actually how the human brain works. We're not actually just duplicating, because we're one of the few species that can innovate and imagine what comes after. So we can actually transform things. The AI is not transforming it in the way that a human does. If you ask a human to paint a sunset, you will get a sunset that is, it could look like so many different things. If you ask 50 people to paint a sunset, you will get 50 different sunsets. You will get different details, you will get different feelings from it. It will not be the same. Even if some of them look similar, it will not be the same. If you tell an AI to paint a sunset and give it no other details except to paint this specific sunset, that's what it'll do. There is no transformation there. The same process that a human being goes through isn't happening. This is just a really sophisticated collage that of other people's work. Now, granted, it does do it in a way that it doesn't always look like a collage. But sometimes some of these works are getting duplicated exactly, and all they're doing is changing the color. That's all it is. And the more it gets criticized for that, the more it starts to it's basically a deep fake of real art. I will never look at AI art as real art because I understand how it works, and I also understand that human beings are going through a completely different process to create art. And for a lot of artists, for most artists, art is like letting a piece of our soul out there. So having it stolen, it's very much beyond comprehension how that feels. I don't want my artwork stolen, and I don't want other people's to be stolen. If you ever see my art in there, it certainly wasn't in there willingly. wouldn't do that. You see, humans only copy other artists whenever they're learning techniques. Or when they're learning a new medium. It's a teaching tool. You're not supposed to actually just do that. Now, there are copyists. That's a whole other thing. And as far as I know, you can't get AI to do that yet, because that's physical. You have to be able to intuitively understand it in a way that AI can't yet. Because you're not just duplicating it. You have to specifically understand how the artist that did it was thinking. How they did their brushstrokes. Like, there's a whole thing to it. In my case, I cannot be a copyist because I have an objection to doing so. But copyists can find good work restoring old paintings. Like, say, a really expensive classic painting at a museum gets damaged. Or, you know, just restoring... There's a lot of things to be restored in this world. That's an actual profession. Just restoring paintings and pieces of artwork. Even just in anthropology, there's some restoration in that. There's some call for people to restore works that have been found. But, not always. Sometimes they want to preserve what it looks like now. Instead of, they just don't want it to deteriorate anymore. Here's the thing. That's an actual job. It's a different kind of artist because there are different kinds of artists. AI artist is not one of them. This is something that corporate America came up with because they just don't want to pay artists. And they know that AI artists, people that use AI, to basically do most of the work for them, sometimes all of it. And they are just the quality control at the end of that. That's all you are whenever you're doing the AI stuff. You're just quality control. You are the person at the end just making sure that it meets some sort of standard and there's not like a foot in a wrong spot or something. You're quality control. You're not an artist.